What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm joined by guest DJ Mines. How's it going, DJ?
Oh, it is good to be back, boys and girls. It is good. I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. It has been over 9 months since I've had the pleasure of sitting down with DJ and talking about crypto. DJ has been away, but now he is back, and I'm excited to kind of get some of your thoughts here because, we've had some live streams here and there. But other than that, I'm just excited to really talk to you because things have changed immensely. So over this 9-month time period that you have been away, what were you mining during that time period? I'm very curious. What hardware did you have? Where were you at?
Yeah, so I had my KS3 on primarily, at KS0 for a bit, but that was it. It was getting hosted, not the KS0, but the KS3. Honestly, that was it, man. That was really it. I was buying the coin a lot, though.
No GPUs. Okay, look, great. So no GPUs, that you had running. What about DPIN projects? Any DPIN projects you had up and going?
I forgot about that. Sorry. Yeah, not Helium. Yes, Helium Mobile, but now my internet's not fast enough. You have to be like 1 gigabyte or something, and I'm like 850, so they won't let me run that anymore. GeoNet's been fantastic. I love my GeoNet. I get paid every single day, and the demos, man, still people driving for me, and that came in all the time. So yeah, DPIN's been really good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you had a KS3M hosted. What's that been like, having a Kaspa miner hosted in a situation where Kaspa, I don't recall where we were 9 months ago, but has it been profitable, especially with the KS3M?
So it's actually KS3 regular. It was good. Yeah. So actually, one of the community members, I don't know if he wants me to say who, but he hosted me for 7 cents. Yeah, which is his electric rate. He just wanted to help me because I was overseas, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to charge you a penny." And I was like, "Thanks for looking out, bro." And so at the time, I think it was making $1 or $2 or something around there. And then once we got to break even, I let it go for like 2 more months. And then once I started losing like 50 cents to $1, I said, "You know what, man? Just ship it back. I'll pay for shipping. I really do appreciate it." But yeah, definitely. I actually ended up selling the KS3. And what's funny is I paid $16,600 for that when it first came out, sold it for $300, and I had to pay shipping. That's how bad it is. Yeah.
The world of crypto that we live in. I totally get it. I mean, especially Kaspa right now. Just last week I did a video on buying 3 KS5Ls for $300 a pop. Like they're just so cheap right now, and I'm in a situation where I'm going to run them even at a little bit of a negative to stack Kaspa at this point in time, hoping that it responds. But it's crazy how those prices change so quickly, right? 16,000 down to 300, which is absolutely painful. Are you at least sitting on a decent bag of Kaspa at this point? Thank you to today's video sponsor, ASICmarketplace.com. If you're in the market for the top ASIC miners, look no further than ASICmarketplace.com. They have some of the best miners on the market in 2025. To name just a few: Bitmain Antminer AL3 and L7, the 𝐷𝐴LPHEX DG1+, the Canon Avalon A15 XP, and many more. And home miners, ASICmarketplace.com has you covered as well. The 𝐴LPHEX DG-Home1, the Bombax EZ100C, the Ice River AL2 Lite, and many more. Finally, 3 big reasons I like ASICmarketplace.com. First, the price on their website is to your door. Shipping and import tax is included in the price. Second, they accept cryptocurrency as a payment method. And third, I've been working with them for over 2 years and never had a bad experience buying from ASICmarketplace.com. Go check out ASICmarketplace.com today and use my discount code to save $100 at checkout.
Oh yeah, man. Last I checked, I was still up really big. I made the 16,600 probably in 3-4 months of mining. That was kind of the cool thing about Kaspa. Unlike other ASICs like Bitcoin miners or Litecoin or something, you have to wait a year or 2 or 3 to get your money back. I mean, I got my money back almost instantly, 3-4 months. And then I just held on till the Kaspa's still holding. Might actually be negative now because I think Kaspa's at 6 or 7 cents last time I checked. So, but overall, definitely yielded a lot of coin with it.
Okay. So during your time away, I heard you mention this. It was on my list of things to ask you about. buying crypto. It seemed like you were pretty bullish on that. Tell me about kind of your strategy, what you kind of bought into during that time.
Yeah, man. I've always been interested in buying crypto. I've been buying since like 2016, 2017. And I find it to be so much easier for someone in my position, right? I move a lot because of my job, anywhere from every 2 to 4 years, right? And you probably can't really see it, but I sold almost all my GPUs. I kept enough for one rig, and I'm still trying to sell my MI50s. But other than that, man, I sold like 150 GPUs, and I just moved so much. Then my electric rate's really high. When I first got this house, it was 12 cents, which is fairly high. Then it went to 16, then it went to 20. Now I'm at 21, 22. I said, okay, you know what? For me in my situation, this just doesn't make sense, man. And not to mention, it takes up so much space. It almost feels selfish. Now I have so much space. Like my spare bedroom over there, I selfishly took it over. The basement down here, I have taken over, right? So the kids can't play. And I mean, it's a really selfish hobby. Also in the garage, you know what I mean? I have a massive garage for who? For me. And I also looked around and I said, you know what? Not only am I being selfish, but I'm not even utilizing these GPUs. Like they're literally sitting there. I probably haven't mined with them for like a year and a half. Like it's literally just taking up space. All these little rigs and metal frames I have. I mean, I probably have 15 to 20 fully built Vega frames and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, wow, like this is such a selfish hobby to do at home on scale. So that was really, for me in my situation, the best thing I could do. Now I'm getting hosted though. That's really good.
So what do you have hosted now?
At the moment, I have 20 AL3s. It's been about 2 months now. That hasn't been good at all. That hasn't been good, but we're still.
We'll talk about that more in a minute. Okay. So I do want to jump back. Your sentiment of like selfish, like feeling selfish, and like all that. I totally get it. Like my basement's got stuff in it. The garage, my garden shed is filled with ASIC boxes right now. I can't even get into it. Like totally get it, especially with all the frames. I've started liquidating stuff. I mean, I've been kind of I have a yard sale section in my Discord. I've been slowly liquidating stuff there too over the last year or so. But the amount of frames that you accumulate with GPU mining, I imagine there's boatloads of the audience members watching now that like can totally agree and reflect with it. I guess for you with your GPU selling, was there a methodology to doing it now, or was it just like, hey, I'm home, I've wanted to do this for a while, I'm just going to take care of it?
Yeah, no, so there was definitely a plan to do it. I think after the Ethereum merge, if you hadn't already sold, for me, I was like, this just doesn't make sense because 3070s were going for like $170. Now, of course, that's not eBay or anything, but like locally, $170. And I had a guy who buys in bulk. I mean, he buys hundreds to thousands of GPUs at a time. He has a huge warehouse. I've sold to him before the bull run, all my 3080s, 3070 Ti's, 3090s, anything like GDR6X and up, he was buying, and he wanted to buy all my 3060 Ti's and 3070s, and I said no, I'm not interested, because he was offering me like 130. So then I came back from my trip, and I'm always watching the market. What are they going for? And I'm starting to see all the prices of GPUs go up. And so I said, you know what? I think unless there's some crazy alt season bull run, this is probably the best I'm going to do. So I posted all my 3070s for like 250 if they were like FEs or, for the win threes a little bit more. And he saw my Facebook post and he's like, remember me? And I was like, oh, not you again. He's like, brother, listen, you're lucky because now the price has gone up. He's like, I'll offer you 220 for 3070s. I'll offer you 200 for 3060 Ti. So you can see that's like a $50 difference. I said, I'll take that, no problem, because he's buying like over 100. I think I ended up selling him like 110, 115 in total. And he also buys PSUs. He'll buy motherboards. He'll buy anything you want except for like risers and the frames and like the actual mining stuff. He doesn't need, but he came over, he bought 110 and he said, what are you going to do with all these frames, bro? So he offered me $100 for like the complete set. I still told him no. Kind of wish I wish I would have told him yes, because now I'm looking around. It's hard to sell these B250s, H110s and stuff. And he would have taken all of them for $100 a pop. He doesn't care what's in it. So yeah, he's freed up so much space for me, bro. I know on the video I said 15,000, which is true for like the GPUs, but he ended up spending about 17,500 buying a bunch of extra spare stuff. And mind you, I also sold all the 3080s to him, the 3090s, A4000s. That was probably another 15, 16. So ended up doing a lot of business with him.
Yeah, it's smart. I think it's smart to really look at opportunities like right now, with GPU prices, things are doing well. I mean, I just went ahead. broke down an old 1060 rig I had sitting here and listed them, and already sold 2 of them in the last week, like 1060s. Like, like people are buying them. People are buying GPUs right now, and it's not miners. Like, I really don't think it's miners, which is, I think, the big difference that we saw in the past, where like miners were buying up GPUs left and right. I don't think that's the case right now. Those individuals out there looking to build rigs just in order to build traditional gaming rig, now is a great time. There's so much inventory out there, which I think is great. I think the GPU mining scene and GPU miners have finally come to the realization of like, and I am just as guilty. I've held on to 2 rigs and I've decided to part ways with them. But like, just the fact of, hey, it's time to sell these rigs. Like, at this point in time, we've ridden out the last few years. We've had some ups and downs, but mostly downs, and nothing insanely profitable, right? Nothing that's like
Yeah.
wishing I would have held on to my GPU rigs.
He told me what he's doing is selling to gamers, but for like the really good cards, like thankfully, man, this is one of the best things I ever did was buy so many EVGA and like ASIC Strix and like the good stuff. I only probably had, I don't know, 4 to 6 Zotacs total, and like the one PNY, everything was really good, man. And so that made it so much easier to sell. And like I said, for like the For the Win 3 instead of 220, I'm like, dude, I need 240. He's like, fine. And so what he said is he takes the really good ones like the For the Win 3s and Founder Editions, he puts them in a computer, like some kind of tower, and he sells it to gamers. He makes insane amount of money, right? So yeah, definitely no mining for him. I mean, he has tens of thousands of GPUs in his warehouse, and he just parts them out. He hires his friends, and he's making a good amount of money. But it's a lot of work, right?
That's wild. Oh yeah. Oh
Let me
yeah.
tell you
Trust
one
me,
more
I know the
thing.
amount of work Yeah, go for it. Please, go for it.
I shipped. So I first was like, I want to be greedy. I'm going to do one GPU. I sold 11 of the 3060 Ti's. That wasn't bad. Then I sold 2 like 3070s, and I always had to have my wife go there and go to the post office, and she's getting annoyed. I said, I have to do this 120 more times. I said, dude, you can buy it all in bulk. Please take it off my hands, man. It's no.
Yeah, by the time, see, what people forget is like, and I totally agree with you. It's like working on every card, cleaning every card, packing it up, shipping it, going there, time and labor that you put into it individually. You think you're making out better, right? With like a few extra dollars. But if you have an opportunity to sell in bulk, I think it's a great avenue to go. I actually, I've seen like over the last few months, a lot of people, I think it's called BitPro, where like you could sell your GPUs back to this company, and then the gaming GPUs, and then they'll resell you like CMP data center cards. I 100% do not agree with that avenue to go, because there's no demand for that card after you've now gotten that card, versus like your situation, big demand, big demand. Like, gamers just eat it up. It's that
Yeah.
repurpose opportunity.
Yeah, no, 100%. I saw that as well. I mean, yeah, like if it wasn't GPUs for GPU, like what are you going to put? What algorithm is that going to go on? The 170HX? Like what? Dude, so here's the thing, right? Where I'm moving to, I should be back to like included power. Some will call it free power, but it's just
Okay.
included in the rent. I did the math. I said, you know what? Even if I run 70 GPUs, I think I was going to make like $13 a day. It's that bad on free power. It was so bad. And I said, you know what? My GeoNet's out here. It's been running for 2 years, making $5-6 a day. This thing cost me like $600. Bought it once, and it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's wild. That's wild. So I want to jump back a little bit. During your time, you talked a little bit about buying crypto and stuff like that over the last 9 months. Tell me about, now, I do not recommend this, and I don't think you do either, but the play you took with the loan you took out to buy crypto. Tell us more about that and how that ended up working out for you.
Oh, it's been so good, man. It's been so good. I want to say my average buy price for Bitcoin is 57,000 on that loan.
What was the loan? What was the loan amount? What type of loan did you get? Stuff like that.
Yeah, so I got a personal loan for $10,000 because Bitcoin was going down like crazy. I think it was already at its all-time highs, and I saw it in the 50s, and I said, I hit up my bank apps. I said, what's the percentage you could give me? The best one they could give me was like 10.9. We call it 11%. I said, no problem. Give it to me now. And I threw it all into Bitcoin. I'm sorry. I threw 80% of it in Bitcoin, 20% into Solana. dirt cheap Solana. I forget the price on that. Dirt cheap Bitcoin. We're still in the 80s, right? So I'm doing great, man. At one point, that thing had doubled, but we're still up a lot of money, and I paid it all back very fast, like 2 or 3 months, because to me, $10,000. This is really relative, and like you said, you don't recommend, or we shouldn't probably recommend. It's really relative to you, right? $10,000 for me, you know what I mean? It's not going to kill me. Like, it's not a big deal. Now, if I got $100K, $200K loan, okay, that's a different situation. So for me, I just felt like this is such a good opportunity. Bitcoin at 57K, I gotta take this. I thought it was a good risk.
Yeah, it was fun to follow along a little bit that while you were gone, you kind of updated us on some live streams on like how that made out for you and like how fruitful that was. Because I think you did that. Did you do that before you left, or actually right after you left?
I want
Do you
to say
remember?
while I was over there. I want to say while I was
Okay.
overseas, but I
Okay.
can't remember. Could have been before.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, definitely a risky play, and I see it a lot. Not necessarily with like taking out a loan. Where I see this behavior a lot is individuals like, I'm gonna buy. Like I had a guy the other day bought $120,000 in ASICs, and he bought
Ooh.
L9s, which was okay, cool. Like December, January, but now he's freaking out because we're now into March and we're at a fraction of the profitability per day, and he's like, "Yeah, I took a loan against this," and now he's freaking out
Uh,
to pay it back. And it's like, and I never recommend that people like
yeah,
because things can be $65 a day on an L9 is beautiful, but you don't know what it's going to be next week. So it's very, very risky. I always tell people buy in cash or buy in crypto. Like, don't spend money you don't have. Now,
for
your
sure.
story was fun to tag along with. You weren't over leveraged, so I think that was a really, really cool opportunity. So tell us about the Solana play a little bit. So, proof of stake, not traditionally something we talk a lot about on our channels. However, it seems like it's been really fruitful, and I think you've been staking it as well. Is that correct?
Absolutely, man. I've been staking it. Even my other Solana, I've been staking between Coinbase and Tangem. Tangem actually pays a lot more. But I like Solana a lot, man. And unfortunately, it seems like proof of stake's where it's at. That's really where people are building, or I wouldn't consider meme coins building, but that's where the attention is. All the Timmies that come in, all the young kids I see, they're interested in crypto. Nobody's talking about proof of work besides Bitcoin, but everybody's talking about proof of stake. The writing's kind of on the wall. I felt like this was a really good opportunity. And yeah, I like Solana a lot, man. And it's always on the news, right? That's a really big thing. So, maybe you get the ETF going, you get a lot of hype, and it's not something that just YouTubers have to talk about, right? You got the media talking about it and just spreading the word a lot easier than we could.
Yeah, I mean, Solana, I've seen more and more projects being built on there, or coins being launched on there as well with Solana, which I think is awesome. Good additional utility and use case. Do you recall what type of percentage you're getting with staking that Solana?
So on Coinbase, it was like 5.8. And on
Okay.
Tangem, it's closer to 7. So sometimes,
Wow.
depending on
Is
when you
there a
sign up,
staking period?
yeah. So on Coinbase, you have to wait 3 days, I think. On Tangem, you have to wait 5. And the one thing
Okay.
I really like about it, and I never suggest people put money on the exchange. However, the nice thing is, if they ever try to take it off, I'll get an email, I'll get hit up about it. You can't just steal it.
Mm,
You see what I'm saying? Even if you go into my
yeah.
Coinbase, still don't recommend, but even if you go into my Coinbase, you literally couldn't steal it if you wanted to. And that's the only thing I keep on there. It's just some staking, but it's mostly on my Tangem.
Okay. All right. So, elephant in the room, Kaspa.
Yes.
Tell me
Kaspa, yes.
about your current sentiment of Kaspa. Tell me what you've kind of seen from afar, being away, kind of keeping an eye on it. And are you still holding Kaspa? Well, I guess you said you're sitting on a pretty big bag, but yeah, tell me just kind of how you're feeling right now on Kaspa.
Yeah, man, still bullish on Kaspa. I love me some Kaspa. Haven't sold one coin. Held it all from GPU mining all the way up to KS0, KS3, KS2s, everything. Still bullish on it. I think for sure it's in this massive lull, which sucks. It's been like a year or so, where it's just like, keep waiting, guys, keep waiting, guys. And, you see all these great people with these charts and stuff. I ignore all the charts. I'm not worried about any of that. For me, I know what Kaspa's doing. I'm really bullish on what they're doing, what they have coming up. Now, I do think the biggest elephant in the room for me is like the 10 blocks per second. It's awesome. I mean, nobody's doing that. But like, is that going to make people want to build on it? I'm not sure. Without the smart contracts, which are coming this year, guys, without the smart contracts, we won't know, right? Until altcoin seasons, we won't know. And I think it's doing negative, just like everything else is, right? We really need Ethereum to pump to move the altcoin season. We need something to happen. So I'm not going to count that against Kaspa. Everything's selling off.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the challenge with Kaspa, I mean, it has everything working against it right now. Not only does it have the emission schedule in order to decrease the amount of supply, on top of that, we have a price that has decreased significantly over the last 9 months or so. On top of that, you also have the network hash rate that continues to climb. And then the last piece is that the lack of transactions on the Kaspa network. So it's like, man, we have nothing good going for Kaspa right now. And I had a good conversation with another miner the other day about this, and it was very much about, and those not familiar, when there's more transactions on the network, we as miners benefit from it. We make more rewards in that day. And so right now the challenge is like Caspa, I feel like is very much, and I think they always have approached this as a technology and not as a business. And so the downside is, and there's nothing wrong with that, but the downside is for us miners is the fact of like, okay, then what's getting built on Caspa that's going to encourage those transactions? Well, they're just kind of building their technology out and waiting, almost like if we build it, they will come type of mentality, hoping that those projects will come to the network, that those transactions will come to the network, which I'm hoping those smart contracts, as you mentioned, open up some of those doors. But yeah, Caspa doesn't have a lot going for it right now. But I think we are all hopeful that we do see some price discovery and just some transaction activity.
I agree and disagree. Not much going on.
Please, please do.
Yeah,
Please
because
do.
I'm in the Twitter spaces. I'm not talking, but I'm
Mhm,
listening.
mhm.
You know what I mean? I'm
Okay.
listening to, like, the last thing we had was KRC20. We're waiting for KRC21. The
Yep.
devs, I go into their Twitch, right? And so it's kind of like you got to kind of look for the information, I think, more
Mhm,
than anything. And yeah, I do agree. It's got a lot of potential at the moment. And
mhm.
because it's proof of work, I don't know how interested people will be, but certainly there's a lot of work going into it. I think without the smart contracts, you can't build on it. That's the thing, right?
Mhm.
Maybe you can build some things, but you can't really build, or a lot of these companies can't build into it. And when you mention about, you know, it's difficult with the proof of work project that's fair launched, right? So like, yeah, like it's not a
Mhm. Yeah,
business, right? And that's kind of the cool part. I guess it's also a double-edged sword. Like,
yeah.
yes, it's great because it's fair, it's decentralized and stuff. It's not a business, so it has to just kind of, the community has to carry it, I guess. Double-edged sword.
Mhm. Yeah. No, I agree. So let's talk about the big play in the room, Alethium, that you hinted
Mm.
at the top here. So tell us about when you kind of, shouldn't say dipped your toes in, you kind of leaped in to
Oh yeah.
Alethium here. Tell us what you bought, when you bought it, and why. Special shout out to today's video sponsor, Apexto Mining. If you're in the market for your next ASIC miner, go no further than apextomining.com. Apexto Mining carries some of the most popular models on the market. To name just a few, the Bitmain Antminer L9 and L7, the AlphaPex DG1 Plus, the Bitmain Antminer S21 Pro, and finally the Ice River AL3. Home miners have a home over at Apexto Mining with some amazing deals on units like the Ice River KS2 Lite Kaspa miner and the AL2 Lite Alethium miner. Some of my favorites include the AlphaPex DG Home 1 and the new Flu Miner L1 Script Miner. Finally, two major reasons I like buying from Apexto Mining. Finding a reliable source for your ASIC purchases can be challenging. With Apexto Mining, they simplify the process, ensuring you buy with confidence and ease. And the big one, Apexto Mining accepts not only bank transfers, but crypto payments to make life easier. Head on over to apextomining.com today and use the promo codes down below in the video description for a discount at checkout.
First, let me say this. I was going to buy 50 of them. So 20 for me, yeah, 20 for me was like toning it down, you know what I'm saying? So I was considering 50, but what really got me, man, the price of the miners were so low. I forget the name from Bitmain. Was it AL1? I mean, those things were $30,000. 30,000. I said, no way, I'm not doing it. Then they moved it down to 10. I said, nah, it's still too much. I mean, and then these AL3s came out for like 3,700. Yeah, at the time, of course, probability was incredible. But for me, I felt like it was at such a low number to get into the machines. I think I ended up spending like 70 75,000, 76,000. And that includes deposit and a bunch of other stuff like for the machines. But the biggest thing for me was the hosting. I got in at 7.3 cents, and that has been like my saving grace. If you, dude, on 20 machines, like if you look at like 9 cents, 10 cents, or even if you look at 6 cents, like 1 or 2 pennies on 20 machines is the difference of $7,000 to $10,000 a month. I mean, it's not a month, excuse me, over the year. It's insane. So I felt like I got in at a really good electric. And then for me, it's only been 2 months, right? I came into it knowing I was going to hold the coin for probably at least 6. I know it's going down right now, especially that's on Tangent. People are selling, but we're not even in that altcoin season. Assuming that we do get an altcoin season, that's when I'll judge it and say, you know what? Ethereum's at new all-time highs. Solana's at new all-time highs and everything. Alephium failed. Then I'll take it as an L. But I'm not going to judge pretty much any cryptocurrency during this weird kind of phase that we're in, where literally everything's for sale. So we'll see. It could be a failure, but at the moment, I can't call it a failure. It's too soon. And I can also do that benefit. I also have the benefit of where I'm paying out of pocket. So I pay about $3,700 a month out of pocket, and I kept all it cash just in case this happened. And where people get over leveraged is like maybe the person you said earlier for those L9s, right? This is all their money, right? So this gamble for them is either a loan or like this is their life savings. Does 74,000 hurt? Heck yeah, it does. But it's not going to like kill me. You know what I mean? I'll still be fine. I'll sleep good at night. Obviously, I would like it to work out, but it's not going to ruin my life.
Yeah, I mean, I remember you telling me about this play before you made it public on like a live stream and stuff like that. And I remember looking at this, and I don't know if this is something that you stumbled upon or somebody had recommended it to you, but when you mentioned it to me that you were like, "Hey, I'm thinking about buying a whole bunch of these AL3s," and I was like, "Wait, what?" And I went and looked, and at that time, folks, Alethium was about $2.80. And so an AL3 at that time was making just shy of $30. And at that time, so was the L7. And this was when the L9 was making $65 a day. We'll talk about revenue here. And it was incredible to be like, wow, because when you looked at an L7 that was a 4-year-old ASIC, it was still making $30 a day. DJ was looking at a brand new ASIC within a month or a 2-month time period that it got released, making $30 a day at $3,700, where the L7 was $9,000. And it was a no-brainer. It really was. And nobody, at least publicly, was chasing that down. Nobody had mentioned it. I think the biggest, and I think your decision at that time was a great decision. The markets were looking awesome. Those of you guys that look back at any coin during like December, January time period looked really, really good. I think the one thing that and I went and bought 2. I was like, this is a no-brainer. I'm going to buy 2. I think the one thing that bit us in the ass per se in that regard was, one, it took forever for Ice River to ship those units. I remember waiting like, oh my gosh, what is taking them so long? And during that time period, I mean, it was well over a month. It ended up declining in price more and more and more. And I remember feeling a little defeated even when I got my first 2 miners versus your 20, just because of that. And that was tough. That was definitely tough.
It's not a good feeling. I'll certainly say that. It's not a good feeling. I will say this though. I'm a yield guy over dollar value.
Yeah.
I'm a huge yield guy. My yields now are better than when it first came out. Like probably 5% better, maybe 3%. And I could see that going to 10, 20%. But, you know, a bunch of yield of a crappy coin would suck. So we'll find out, man. When that altcoin seasons come, I personally think we're going to do all right. We're going to do all right because I have a really good plan.
I would imagine you already have some type of plan in your head of some exit strategy for some of this in order to recoup cost on our way back up. Would that sound accurate?
Yeah, for sure. I think when I did the math, I did it at like $5. I did on an Excel sheet, $5 a day for each machine, all the way up to like 40. And I never thought it would go under $5. And now I don't even know what I'm making. I mean, probably losing like 50 cents to $1. But I'm just so glad that I got a cheap electric rate, man, because that is what really kills you, is a higher electric rate.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about what's to come to wrap things up here. So you are moving. Any timeline on that for yourself? And then when you do move into your new place, what's your new mining strategy if one exists?
Yeah, for sure, man. So I should be moving around. I don't want to say exact, July to September,
Yeah.
somewhere in
Okay.
there, right?
Okay.
It's going to be a much smaller house. Unfortunately, that's another reason I'm downsizing, right? Like it's going to be kind of like my old house, like really small. And so I'm just not going to have the space. I kept one rig of 6600 XTs. That's really all I want to do. But I'm still interested in ASICs and DPIN, and yeah, still interested in GPU mining. If it ever comes back, man, maybe I'll buy some more, but probably won't. But certainly buying the coin, holding it, absolutely.
That's awesome. What comes to mind is like, I know you won't have an opportunity to like bolt anything onto the side of your house or anything like that with DPIN, but do you have a small backyard in any way, shape, or form, or no?
Yeah, I'll have a small backyard for sure.
Okay.
So I'll definitely be
The
doing
reason I
DPIN.
ask is I've seen some people do a DPIN pole. It's just like a pole they just put into the ground. Like doesn't have to be crazy secure. They put into the ground and then they do all their then they just run like electrical to that, like with an extension cord and stuff. And like it's their DPIN pole. Everything's attached to this
That's
pole.
smart.
So yeah, maybe there's an opportunity. And then if you need to, you can pull it up and stuff like that, which is nice. Which is fantastic. So outside of mining with that GPU rig, outside of getting into DPIN, what's DJ's next big play at this point?
Next big play, man. Buy more Bitcoin. Like I need more Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. But I will end up selling everything probably in 2025 and then rebuying in the bear run. 100%, and then I'll
Okay.
have a lot more. And then at that point, right, I am looking. I don't want people to think I'm not bullish on crypto or crypto mining. I am very bullish on crypto mining. My situation is very rare and unique, right, where I constantly move in a smaller home. I do plan on buying a bunch of L9s. Will I run them at my host? Absolutely. I mean, in my house, absolutely not. I want to get L9s this next bear run, man. Probably like 100 of them, maybe at least 50. Get them hosted and just yield till the next bull run, and then sell them all whenever the L11 comes out, right? Kind of like how the L7 did. So very, very bullish on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that same sentiment from a number of other individuals in this space that are just like, man, script mining has been so profitable. It's rebounded so well from the bear market to the bull market, not just this time, but last time. And like the writing's kind of on the wall that, even looking back, like Kaspa was super profitable for a lot of us during the bear market, but script was continuous. Like it was continually there and continually profitable. Maybe not as much, but it was steady. And I really do think that's a really, really good play. Well, DJ, I appreciate you sitting down with me, talking about the last 9 months or so, everything going on with crypto and with you. Guys, I'm going to leave links for DJ's channel directly down below, Twitter as well as YouTube. Please go over, give him a subscribe, follow. DJ, thanks again.